We're going to use this as a base for a wire tree today. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I picked up this wire at Michael's. It came in a 4-pack and we are going to use one of the silver ones today. If I can get it out. That's right, go Laurie. Now, we're going to pull out the wire. It does kind of bend a little bit at that end where it's folded over, so I use the flat piece of my needle nose pliers to just kind of flatten that out so that it's not as bad. Then I'm going to get out my ruler, turn it to the inches because I am so American, and we're going to cut out 24 inches of wire, and I'm going to do that 20 times, but I'm not going to make you watch it because I'm awfully nice. So we'll just do one, and then just like magic, wow, 20 pieces of wire. That's amazing. I know. I'm getting really not good at this whole filming thing. After 2 years, you'd think I'd be better, but I keep going off camera, and I apologize for it profusely. So I'm going to try to change things up in the next video and maybe do a different camera angle and see if that helps. But anyways, what I'm doing here is I'm taking all of the wire and I'm bending it back and forth just a little bit to take a lot of that curl out, so it's easier to get the individual pieces of wire. Not all the curl, just some of the curl. Now I have two different styles of beads. These are little tubular things, and I wish that I had shown them up to the camera so you could see it, but I was so excited about doing this wire tree that I didn't even think about it, honestly. And then I am grabbing these little faceted, I think they're the 4mm beads. They're either 2 or 4, but I want those to be the middle pieces of my branches. So just got to get some out. And so we're going to go with a tubular bead, sorry, oh my goodness, tubular bead, one of the faceted beads, if I can find the hole, and then a tubular bead. And then we're going to match up the ends of the wires and pull it until it goes into the middle, or as close to the middle as I can get it. Then we're going to pull it tight, and we're going to wrap it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6, 7, 8, about 8 times. And then we're just going to grab one side and we're going to repeat that pattern and then pull it up. Now you want to make sure that you got room. You don't pull it all the way up. Oh, see, I should have done a better job at explaining this to you. I will in the next wire tree video that I do. I will explain it better. So, but you want to leave a little bit of a gap so that you have room to twist that wire down to the main base where the last piece was twisted. And then you grab the wire from the other side, put your beads on, and do the same thing, or just repeat that. And do it off camera so that nobody can see. That's the key. That's essential, because Laurie is a professional. All right, and then we're just going to wrap it probably about 3 or 4 more times just to secure the end piece there. But anyways, that is our first branch. I think I'm going to, let's see, I believe, yeah, we go through one more and then I skip through to the end. And so from 20, that takes us, well, no, that doesn't take us anywhere yet. Okay, so again, fold it in half, pull it taut or tight, depending on which language you want to use. No, it's not a different language. Which word you want to use. Make sure you're off camera so that nobody can see what you're doing. Repeat your pattern of beads. And then twist, probably. So you want it to be approximately the same size, but it doesn't matter if it is. It's not going to make a huge difference. And then one way that you can check to be sure you got the other wire, because it can get confusing, is to simply pull down on those and see which one's longer. And so if it's whichever one is longer is the one you want to use. And then we're going to twist that up till it meets with the other two sides, and then twist that another 4 or 5 times. And then we're going to take 2 of those at a time, and we're going to twist those about 5 times, I believe. And we're going to put those together, and that's going to form the main base of our branches. Doing that just makes them look fuller. Yeah, it just makes them look fuller. So, and we'll go from 10 down to, or we'll go from 20 branches down to 10. So again, you can play with them and kind of make them excuse me, kind of make them like extend out a little bit, but we'll really do that at the end instead. Now we're going to take 2 of those, and we're going to twist those about 4 or 5 times, and then kind of spread them apart. And then we'll go from 10 down to 5. I'm just extending that one, it wasn't quite long enough. And then we'll separate those. Okay, now we're going to take 2 of, we've got 5 branches now. So we're going to take 2 of those, and we're going to put those together, and then we'll twist a couple times and then add another one, and then twist it a couple times and add another one. Or we'll put 3 of them together, forgive me. This makes the top of the tree look really, really full, and you can bend these however you need to. And then, yeah, twist a couple times. We're going to add 1 branch, twist a couple times, and add the last branch. Now it was getting kind of tough because with 20 wires and arthritic hands, my hands don't function as well as they need to. So I bring in my rubbery pliers that I just picked up at either Michael's or Hobby Lobby, and grip those and twist with my other hand. The reason I like to use those is if you use needle nose pliers, they can dent or mark the wire itself. So now I'm going to start pulling them apart and forming the branches. The ones that are lower down can face downward. The only problem with doing this now is that it makes it difficult for you to see how I do the roots, and I do a terrible job at the roots. Now this is my first time doing roots like this. Usually I would form a base with the rock and some wire, and then I would start, my previous tutorials have been like starting at the base and then working my way upward. This is the first time I'm going from upward down to the roots. So I'm just trying to see if I like where the trunk is at, if it's long enough, and where to go from here. So now I'm going to separate the 2 sections into 4, and then I go from 4 into 8, and I take those 8 sections and I twist just about 4 or 5 times to start the root system out. Now if I had been smart, I would have counted out and seen how many. Okay, I am smart. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I can just hear my daughter getting after me. Mom, you don't say that about yourself. But if I had been reasonable or a little more knowledgeable, I would have counted out and made sure that I had even numbers of the roots, the wires, in the root system, but I didn't do that. I was just having too much fun, I guess. And so I end up with odd numbers here and there. And you have to twist everything downward, and so you don't want odd numbers. And so I go through, you'll see me go through in just a minute and start finding all the odd numbers and picking those out and just trimming them up, where this is where you'll see me do that, where I find the odd number and I use my flush cutters and I just trim up where I had just finished twisting. So I'm going to do that around. And so be patient. Be patient. Don't rush through this. Like I said, this is kind of my first one, so I was awfully excited. I learned how to do this form of wire trees from RAD Creations, and I'll put a link to her site below. And she does the most gorgeous wire trees, and she does these awesome root systems that I am just going to play with a little bit and do like a very, very beginner friendly root system, especially because my crystal is very small and my roots were starting to get a little bit on the crazy long side. But if you love wire twisting, and she does full-on tutorials, she really doesn't cut out or try to edit it down. So if you like to watch the full-on tutorials, she is a great one to go to. Now I'm twisting down my roots. I'm kind of seeing approximately where it's going to land, and knowing that I'm going to turn in the end, I go a little bit longer, but then I'm going to trim it down, and then I take my round nose plier and I create just a little twist in it, and that's what it looks like when you've got them all done. And so the next thing, take this time, take this opportunity to really play with your tree. I had already done this, but I just wanted to show you, you can take and play with your root system. You can give it a little more twists and turns and make it just full of character. Now we're going to take and kind of mold the tree to the crystal. We're going to try to bend the wire as best we can, and then take an elastic and put one right against the base, and then one twist a little further away over the root system. This yellow elastic was a lot more bendy, so I was able to do it 3 times. But you want to try to put it so that it's over all of your little roots, holding them down against your base. And then you're going to take your either E6000 glue, or RAD Creations uses, Gorilla Glue Clear Grip. And she seems to prefer that. But I found the E6000 was fantastic. So definitely put a big glob underneath the trunk so that it adheres to your crystal, and then go around your roots. I really should have done more, like gone over every single one of my little twists and turns to keep it, firmly against it. But, again, brand new doing this, and so I didn't. But the nice thing about the elastic is, because it pulls, it won't stick. It'll stick to the glue, but it'll come off easily. And so that at least that's what I found. So here we go. We're just going around and finishing that up, and then leave it overnight. Leave it overnight to dry, just to make sure that you've got a good grip. Oh, I don't know why that darkened up. Okay, and then you're going to pull off your elastic. Now, she cuts off her elastic. I found that mine just pulled off easily. And there's your tree. is beautiful. I absolutely love the base. I hope that you enjoyed watching this. I'm definitely going to be doing another one with a not a crystal base. It's a geode with a geode base. And so we will see you next week. And everybody have a great day. Bye now.